Welcome to Mimi's Math channel. Today I'm going to show you how to use the Desmos and the TI-84 graphing calculator to factor your greatest common factors, which is also known as your GCF. But in order to use the method I'm about to show you, you have to have a binomial. What does that mean? That means that you have two terms only. For example 1, we have 16a squared minus 40b. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take the numbers and we're going to go into our graphing calculator. First step is to go to math. You'll see NUM. In order to get there, you have to arrow over to the right, and then you can either arrow down or just press the number 9, and it says GCD. You want to take the two numbers that were in your example, 16 and 40. I'm not including the signs because it may give you an error. So 16 and 40, type that in. 16 separated by a comma, which is above your 7, and then 40, and end it with your parentheses. Once you press enter, that is your GCF. If you go to Desmos, you can do the same thing. I can either go to functions and scroll all the way until I see number theory and choose GCD, and you're going to do the same thing. Type in 16 and then the comma is on your keyboard. If you don't see the keyboard, it's usually down like that. You just click up and click on the comma and do the same thing. You can type 40 or you can type it from your literal keyboard, and it tells you the same thing, that it's 8. I have 8, which we found in both calculators. Whenever I have a GCF, it's on the outside of my parentheses. That is what I'm actually dividing each term by. So 16 divided by 8 leaves me with 2. And there's an a squared here, but there's not an a on the other side, so I can't take out the variable a. So I'm just going to bring the a squared down. And then I have negative 40 divided by 8, which leaves me with negative 5. And then I bring the b down as well. I couldn't take out a b either because the first term did not have one. So for the second example, before you do anything, make sure it's in standard form. And that includes taking the sign that's in front of the x squared. So I'm going to rewrite this, and then we will go and try to find our GCF. I'm working with 24 and 72. Like I said, if you put the negative sign, it may give you an error. So let's just try it just to see what happens. I am going to again go to math, arrow over, number 9, and then I'm going to type in, let's just try the negative. And remember, this means minus, this is negative. So negative 24 and 72. Yeah. So it gives you an error if you use that negative sign. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go to, and then we're going to go over to the negative sign and hit delete. And now let's try it. It tells us that 24 is the GCF. Let's go to Desmos to see what it says. Now that you know it's GCD, you don't have to go through the functions window. You can just type in GCD, but make sure you put your parentheses, because otherwise you see where it's showing you that there's an error here, and it tells you, it says try using parentheses. So go ahead and put your parentheses and now type in 24 and 72 separated by a comma, and it's going to tell you what your GCF is. So I'm going to go ahead and factor this for you and show you what it will look like. But before I do, remember, when you rewrite it, if your leading coefficient is negative, you have to bring that negative sign out. This time, not only did I have the negative 24, but I also had a variable that came out. So if I'm looking at my first term, I see two x's, which I wrote to the side, x and an x. And then on the second term, I saw another x, so I put that at the bottom. What do they have in common? What I circle is telling me what I have in common. So we only have one x in common. So that is also part of my GCF that goes on the outside. What's left over goes on the inside. So negative 24 divided by negative 24 is 1. We don't really have to write the 1, which leaves me with one x. I have two x's here, and when I divide, I'm going to get rid of one of these x's from the top and one from the bottom, but I still see an x left over. What's left over goes inside of the set of parentheses. And then the last example, I have a 12 and an 8, and so we're going to go ahead and type that in. We go to math, arrow over to the right, go to number 9, type in 12. The comma is above the 7, and then 8. Make sure you end your parentheses and hit enter. So for 12 and 8, our GCF is going to be 4. We're going to go also to Desmos and try it again. So you just type in the same thing, GCD, D or go to your functions and locate it there. Put your parentheses, 12, comma, 8. And again, we see that it's 4. Now what you want to do is you want to check your variables. So we know that we're going to put a 4 on the outside. We have 3 A's in the first term, 2 A's in the second term. How many do they have in common? 1, 2. So we're going to bring out A squared. How many B's do they have in common? This term has a B, this one does not. So I know I'm not going to bring out a B. This term has 2 C's. The second term has 1 C. How many do they have in common? 1. So I'm going to bring out 1 C. What's left over goes inside of the parentheses. So I'm going to either divide everything by this 4A squared C, or I can use the other method of saying 4 times what is 12, A squared times what is A cubed, and then C times what is C squared. Now I have plus 8. So 4 times what is 8? A squared times what is A squared? 1. We don't have to write that. C times what is C? Again, 1. My final answer is going to look like this. It's especially helpful being able to go to your graphing calculators to make sure that you have the correct GCF. That's it for the video. Please remember to like and subscribe and have an awesome day.